Hello, everybody. My name is Utsav, and I am presenting my Tableau work today. And I decided to work on a project that I have been meaning to work for a while. And what this project is during the initial part of COVID, as the COVID was rising, we saw multiple waves of COVID. And during the waves, we sent out surveys to people asking them um, how they felt, asking the general demographics, and a bunch of other questions. And I particularly wanted to look at that data using Tableau software. And we did three phases of survey: phase um, one, wave two, and wave three. And and in total, we surveyed 4,748 people. And this is just showing what COVID looks like in general. I obtained this data from CDC's website, and it is very up to date um, until last week. And it just tells us what the COVID numbers were during certain time of the year. Dates back all the way back to January 20, where the first few cases were seen. And this peak right here is what we have, the Omicron variant, and this one right here, the Delta variant. So this is the overall picture of COVID, and I wanted to see like trend line and what we might expect. And Tableau generated parabolic formula, which shows we may be going high, and I even did forecast, and this is what it looks like. And the wave selection is next. What I created. So during each waves, when the data was collected, rather than looking at the entire data set, I only wanted to focus on certain aspect of the data set. So I am focusing on w- how supportive people were of the quarantine that was mandated in the beginning, and uh, those people, what their political background is. And this is the next thing. So I created parameters, and I used the field function to be able to select what wave um, we wanted to look at. So somebody could click on wave one and get a data of what wave one comprises of. Let's suppose we can see that wave one has 773 Republicans and 1,200 Democrats, while wave two has 837 Republican and 1,000 Democrats. So Tableau made it really easy for me to do this. And next thing I did was I we had a sliding scale of 1 to 10 on how supportive people were during the pandemic of this whole quarantine process. And then I added their political background on it, and I displayed it on the graph. So the blue, I color coded it as well. So blue means Democrats, red means Republic. So in this point, so people, 642 Democrats said they supported quarantine 10 out of 10, while 284 Republicans said they supported quarantine 10 out of 10. And then that number goes down, like on the support level, when it's one being the least support level, so not a whole lot of people on one. So this was during phase one. And And then next thing I did was I plotted um, how many people were actually practicing social distancing during that time. Yes, people said they did support it, but were they actually practicing social distancing? And on the initial wave one, I saw 90% of people are practicing social distancing, and only 9% did not. And I even looked at the gender distribution on like what was the distribution like when they supported quarantine. So 44% females, 46% males. And then what I did next was I put everything together in a dashboard where somebody could look at all these things in a single screen. So um, right here it says how many people were surveyed. And before even going there, I have a little note section here. Well, it's not showing. I'll talk about it later. But so overall, I have 4,000 surveys, 4,700 surveys, and and then I plotted my original graph with like when the survey took place. So this is when the survey took place. When I selected wave one, this is when the survey took place. When I select wave two, this is where the survey took place. So right on the bump, right on that wave was when the survey took place. So that's first thing. So when we selected wave one, like I discussed earlier, these are all this is the distribution of what the wave looked like. And I used the tooltip function to be able to tell my viewers like, hey, there are 773 individuals that classified them as Republican in our survey. And that is for wave one. And same thing for wave two. If I select it, it changes the graph a little bit. So once you select this wave two, all the following graphs would change. Um, and when we look at wave one, we saw a general trend of support, like people were supporting 10 out of 10. More values were seen in this area. And then even the are they currently practicing social distancing? Let me put it on the dashboard view so that it's easier. So when we when we asked people, hey, are you currently practicing social distancing? 90% said yes, because it was the beginning of COVID. Everybody was scared, and the quarantine support was pretty good, and the distribution on male and female was pretty good. But as the wave two hit, we saw a little bit of change. We saw a little bit of slack. People are not as supportive, so they're moving down to nine. More numbers are seen in nine, but still, um, more Republicans. I mean, more Democrats compared to Republicans are seen on the supporting trend. And um, and then on the wave two, this is very interesting that now only 66% are actually practicing social distancing, and 33% are not. And my theory is people were already tired of quarantining the first phase, and they were starting to slack off on the second. And another thing that was interesting was during wave one, the distribution of male and female was pretty normal. But wave two hit, then we see more females practicing social distancing as compared to males. And this is the overall picture. And we have to really dig into what is causing that behavior. Maybe women have natural maternal instincts that keeps them safe. Um, that needs to be explored. Uh, Again, we need more waves data. I actually had a third wave data as well, but for some reason the data was corrupted, and I have reached out to the data creators for that um, data cleanup. And another thing I did in Tableau was when if I click Republican, then it changes my these two graphs right here. Now, among Republicans, 72% said they were quarantining, and 27% said they were not quarantining. And when we looked at Democrats, 64% were actually practicing social distancing, while 35% were not. But this was wave two. So if we look at wave one, again, you see the difference. Initially, 91% practicing, only 8% not practicing. Democrat, 91%, 8%. Number did not matter. The number did not change a whole lot, even though more Democrats were supportive of COVID quarantine protocol. They were actually practicing social distancing, even if they didn't like it. But as wave two hit, um, more people that said they're not quarantining, and less people were actually quarantining. And this is very interesting talks. I mean, we can explore human behavior and dig more into it. If we had more data for these remaining waves, like we will see how people felt over time, and we could have another projections data like this. But this is something I built for my project, and I am very happy that I was able to build something like this. And thank you for such an interesting class, and thank you for making me able to build something like this. Thank you.